Good evening, good night, welcome, one and all. It is the effects of COVID-19 on the family, the blueprint. And today's discussion is on conflict. So take this time to like, share, invite your family, invite your friends. Yes, because this discussion is going to be a very, important one, we need to resolve any conflicts that we are having. Yeah.
Better know your friends, or else you will get burned. Gotta count on me, 'cause I can guarantee that I'll be fine. No more pain, no more.
Boutique TV is about merging.
Boutique TV is where we bring the vibes.
Hi, good night, Suzanne. Good night. So we are on the inside, people. It is the effects of COVID-19 on the family, the blueprint. And today's discussion is on conflict. A lot of times we hear the word conflict, and when we hear the word conflict is real problems. Yeah, and conflict is not considered a positive word in some persons may come depending on the situation. They may say you can grow when there's conflict, you can have, differences of opinion and so forth. Right, so we welcome each and every one of you to the effects of COVID-19 and the family. And, you can feel free to share with us what you believe conflict is, and if it is you have experienced any conflict during the COVID-19 pandemic, whether it's conflict within you, whether it's conflict between you and, family members, or between you and, persons at the workplace, etc. All right, so Abby, for you, what does conflict mean?
Well, disagreeing, whether it's verbally or physically, disagreeing about a situation, a subject.
Yes,
And it can
definitely.
become, physical. It can be physical.
Yes, definitely. So when we hear the word conflict, right? Hi, Farina.
Hello, good evening, everyone. Good
Good
night
evening.
to those in the
I was
UK.
I was wondering if you would have had a conflict this evening, because I see, but where's Farina? Farina. So when you hear the word conflict, what does it mean to you?
Well, when I hear the word conflict, I think of a few things. I like disagreements. I think about compromise too, because that's one of the solutions to conflict.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, conflict is where um, two persons have different views over something, over a particular thing, or may not share the
Yeah.
same interest in something. So, like for instance, a parent and a child. A parent might want the child to study doctorate, the child want to become an artist, and that right there is conflict. So,
Yes.
yeah.
Good evening, Candice. Yes. So conflict can be based on disagreements, different opinions, different views, different belief systems, and of course, we hear about conflict of interest. That's a thing now, conflict of interest. And with COVID-19, right, we would have had different, conflicting views, conflicting thoughts. Conflict is a big thing, because then you may even have conflict within yourself. You kind of have, it have the ego and the super ego. and you have the good, they say you have an angel on one shoulder and the devil on the next. And during this time, you're trying to make certain decisions, like now whether to take the vaccine or not, right? And that can be a personal thing that can affect you mentally as well, emotionally, right? Just thinking about whether or not you should take the vaccine and how it is going to affect your health and all these different things. And of course, we know then there's conflict amongst, family members on whether or not it might have one person taking the vaccine and another saying that they don't. And that can cause a lot of disagreement. So if there's anyone on the live where one partner, is okay with taking the vaccine or has taken the vaccine and the other partner does not want to take the vaccine, share, you can feel free to share with us how is that working out for you and what are your conversations like, right? And then of course we have now parents where they are vaccinated when it comes to the children, right? How it is, that, one parent want the child vaccinated and the other does not. Good afternoon, Sonali. So I know there are parents who are okay with vaccinating their child. So Verena, we see now that they are getting in some Pfizer is now trying to get approval for emergency wise to vaccinate children between the ages of 5 to 11, right? And all of your children are now within that age range, right? Have you and your husband discussed whether or not you would like to get all of your children vaccinated? Good afternoon, Nikki. Have you all discussed that as yet, Verena?
No, we haven't discussed it as well. We partially discussed it before they brought out, that aspect of Pfizer we were discussing, and we didn't have an issue giving the boys the vaccine, but we were a little concerned about giving Jerry's it.
Right.
And every time it's something medical, we always have a bit of conflict on whether or not to have Jerry's, take it. There's always that question, and a lot of the times we don't really question it for the boys. We like, okay, but when it comes to Jerry's, we have to think along medical lines, is it safe for her? Is it going to be okay? So,
right.
We haven't come to a decision on Jerry's as yet.
But for the most part, you all are on the same page when coming to the vaccination, okay?
Yeah.
All right.
We don't always be on the same page. We have little conflicts.
So, did COVID cause any conflicts within the home?
Well, yeah, sometimes, how women are, they want things done one time. I want this done now. Clean or mop here now. I'm just giving an example. And your husband might want to do it now. He might wait until later or whatever, and that might be a bit of a conflict because you want it now and he wants to wait until later,
Okay. All right. So, Abby, did you experience any, type of conflict during this pandemic?
No.
Good evening, Sidel. You have not. Did you have any, disagreements? Well, we know that you maybe had disagreements when it comes to the vaccine and, sharing your views and opinions on whether it is someone should be vaccinated or not. Did you have any type of discussion like that, like in your workplace?
Definitely not my workplace.
Definitely not. So, Abby, I have a question for you, right? Saying that they are vaccinating children between the ages of 12 to 18, right? And I know that the children will fall in that bracket, right? Correct?
Yes, definitely.
Right. So, you don't want that they get the vaccine. Do they want to take the vaccine?
I did have a little partial discussion with them about it. The NHS over here is advising them that they can have a decision
Mm-hmm.
of their life, of their own life. So
Right.
I don't want to put no pressure on them, so to have them confused whether to listen to mommy or listen to them. You know what I mean?
Right.
They haven't made a decision as yet, but they can get vaccinated if they want to.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you would not say because I'm not taking the vaccine, you all should not take the vaccine. You're not gonna be that type of parent.
I'm trying not to be, you know.
Okay, so you're trying
I'm
not to
trying
be.
not to be.
Okay. All right, we could accept that. Yes, because I know that there are parents who do not want their children to get vaccinated, and they know the child or their children. They are saying, you know what, I want to be vaccinated, and some of them like okay, like in Trinidad and Tobago, it have this whole thing is if you're living under my roof, you have to do what I say, right? So they wouldn't just be able to pick up themselves and go out there. They need their parents or guardian's signature to get the vaccine, right? There isn't anything in place stating, well, if it is a child wants to be vaccinated, that they can do it without their parents' consent. So it is really left up to the decision of the parent. So in this case, the child basically don't have that right to choose whether they want to be vaccinated or not. Right? And you'll hear children saying, if it was left up to me, I will take the vaccine. Right? And that could cause actually conflict between parent and child because, the child, they getting their own information, they want to make their own decisions and take responsibility, for their own lives. And then they have parents saying, no, because you're living under my roof. And that could cause, if it's like even now, going back out of school, right? They're only saying only the vaccinated can go back out of school. Yeah. So Sonali is saying to me not so much as conflict, but exactly because of shutdown and having to constantly be in the face of the others, you won't usually see under normal circumstances. There was an increased annoyance. All right, so Sonali is saying she had increased annoyance because she had to see people that she really don't want to see on a regular, right? If things weren't locked and shut down, right? So it's more of an annoyance, right? But I know that there are some persons who are in the home, conflict over, financials, how to spend the money, where the money should go, what we should focus on. Yeah, that too, because one partner might be working, the next partner might not be working. So how are we going to really budget? How are we going to allocate? What are we allocating the money to? So we're going to go on a short break and come back and continue this discussion on what, other things that would have caused conflict during the COVID-19 pandemic. So we'll go to a short break and we will be right back.
Nice one, nice one. So you're looked on to the effects of COVID-19 on the family, the blueprint with Shamika James. And we're talking conflict. In the house is Abby, all the way in the UK. She can't sleep. And Verena, who will probably be sleeping a little later. So we're going to come right back. Enjoy a little, the lady herself, Mary J.
All the way from Faizabad. So I'll be joining Chika J this Sunday at 7 a.m. for Sweaty Sundays with the Burn team. Be prepared because it's peace. See you all then.
1, 2, 3, let's go!
So we're back. Yes. We're back. Go ahead, Shika.
So you want to welcome everyone who is now joining us on the live. It's the effects of COVID-19 on the family, the blueprint. And today's topic is conflict. Yeah, so we're talking about conflict. Now, I know Mike always likes to ask, what about the children, right? And we know that it's now online learning. And some households, they don't have either more than one device or they don't have enough devices to, supply to their children. They'll be sharing. So, Verena, how did you maneuver, utilizing devices for your children to be online? How did that work out?
Well, we started off with one cell phone in the house, because so happened my husband's cell phone got damaged. So we had one cell phone. And to thank God they didn't have online classes where they were meeting via Zoom. So what we would do is we do one, then we do and let that child take a break. We do the next subject with the other child. Let him take a break, then we do the other child, and then we start back again. So we do a little rotation between them.
Right.
The conflict though would happen when they have their spare time and they want to play with the phone. Playing games and so on. You would hear them fighting. It's my turn. It's this. It's that. But as far as us doing the online classes, it worked out. Thankfully,
Right.
well, this term they're doing Zooms, and thankfully we have a few more devices in the house, so we're able to set them up properly, to do their
Nice.
classes.
Nice. So yes, Trinity, a lot of children and adults were and are still being socialized in conflict. So there's a lot of disagreement sometimes over the smallest, something that might be like that could be considered small thing, as the Trinis will say, right? So Nicola is also saying they can't live without it. They see it as love. Yes, so some people believe in, a buff or a quarrel. They'll be like, nothing wrong with a good buff. You all ever heard that? I hear that plenty times.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with a good buff, right? And sometimes over the smallest matter, there can be a quarrel or, some kind of, disagreement that blows out of proportion, right? And that could, as Abby was mentioning earlier about the physical aspect of conflict, yeah? Nikki is saying sometimes we look for a partner like that who likes conflict. Some persons, love to be in arguments. They like to have disagreements. They like to even maybe seem as if they're debating, but sometimes it goes beyond a debate or, differences of opinion. It could get physical. And, Abby mentioned that earlier. So sometimes when persons have disagreements and when they realize that they cannot bring across their point as they want to, and the other partner is maybe not giving a listening ear as they should or they would like them to, it can become very physical, right? And we know that during this time it is already tough, where persons may be unemployed, or as I said earlier, one partner may be working, the next one is on, or these things, and it have a lot of pressure. And because it have a lot of pressure, the pressure can lead to the person being on edge all the time. And when someone is on edge, they're going to be they will be looking for things to find and to, make an argument about. There are people like that. They will look for something to get angry about, or it may really have something that they will get a bit upset about, but it goes further than it should even go. And that's why conflict resolution is very important. And many of us don't know how to resolve conflict.
True.
Right? Many of us don't. Sometimes we think that we know how to. We might be able to. Nikki is saying make upset will be good, but not for them toxic conflict. Right? She's talking about the adults here who have, conflict. Right? Yes, we can't run from conflict, but it's how you learn to resolve it positively. It's the key to damage control. Right? So a lot of us really don't know how to resolve conflict. We think that we do, and sometimes we may think that we are resolving it, and when it's done, it's like it gets worse. It gets worse, unfortunately. So you might think at times a person may be angry and they're saying something and they start expressing whatever it is they have in their heart, on their mind. And when it is, you may say, okay, maybe now is not the best time to answer. And by you not responding to that person, it makes the matter worse. And then sometimes you may say something like, don't worry, let us see if we could work this out, what they would like me to do. Sometimes that might get the person more angry. So I think it's also knowing the person, right? And when it is a know the person, they might have an idea of how to deal with the conflict and the situation itself, right? I only seeing real strange things coming up here. So it's how it's really so Sonali saying, yeah, I agree, it's how you deal with it. Right? So we really need to understand how to deal with it, and it all depends on the situation and what was the reason, for the conflict itself. So if it is your, people are in a household and we're talking about the vaccination, because COVID-19 and that vaccination process is causing a lot of rifts in families and a lot of quarrel and squabble and all these things, right? Because one may say, well, the unvaccinated. Some will say the unvaccinated is a threat to the vaccinated, and then they'll hear the vaccinated is a threat to the unvaccinated, and all these different things, right? So sometimes the misinformation, you see, misinformation as well could cause conflict. Everybody wants to be a doctor and a nurse and whatever medical practitioner. Yes? And when that happens and everybody feel that they know that they have the answer and they have the cure. So when that happens, and we will see on Facebook, there's a lot of, I wouldn't even call it a discussion, but that will definitely be conflicting how we deal with vaccinated and unvaccinated. Right?
Yes.
Like, people read my comments. I'm even reading that. Right?
But what I would say is a conflict arises too with vaccinated people, where vaccinated people say, well, I am fully vaccinated, so, it's all right for me to take off a mask or for me to walk around, around other people who don't have on their mask. But it's not the case,
Which is really not the case, because they are still advising everyone. I am very much excited to not wear my mask. However, I don't go around saying, well, I'm fully vaccinated and what I don't want to wear my mask because I'll be charged $1,000, a hot $1,000, and I do not want to give the police $1,000.
Exactly.
Just so, you understand, right? So sometimes, we have to be open to, and we want to be open to learning more. And you see, when we're not open to wanting to learning more, that is a conflict in itself. That could cause more disagreements. It could cause you to, not have good relationship with others. Because when people fussing and the fighting up, and it's all kind of talk about this vaccine, right? You see a lot of people getting into these it becomes a very heated discussion, like this morning on the morning show. Things became a bit heated, right? Because, when we want to talk about, we're talking about law, we're talking about persons, having the right to choose and all these different things. Persons are saying, well, my human rights are being denied. And when people are saying that, it will have conflict, and when, let us say, I have a family member who is working in the health profession, anything, the medical field, it becomes a challenge as well for those, it starts having conflict of interest and how it is to deal with, your family members and so forth. So that's why it is important to don't use misinformation that could cause real problems. Problems, right? So we want to, yes, Trini, Nikki is saying correct. When you are not open to learning new things, is a toxic trait. So when it is we always like we know it all, as I said, that could cause real problems. We are not knowing, we don't know everything. So So we really need to be open to learning, right? We are not the medical professionals, so we would not know how to, address certain things. So of course we'll have people even in the medical field that they too are having conflicts among themselves, because what happened is some believe in the vaccine and then you'll see some do not believe in the vaccine right now, and then there's what is it, misinformation. So there are doctors who as well having, they are supposed to be like a family. Now the family is divided, right? Because everyone is not on the same page, right? And when they're not on the same page, considered as conflict. So what do we do when, yes, so what do we do? So Verena spoke about a very important word, compromise. How do we compromise when, let us say, comes to parents making a decision whether their child should or should not be vaccinated? Verena, let us say you decide, here what, I think Jury should be vaccinated, and your husband is saying no. How are you really going to deal with that?
So a big part of that compromise would be what we have to balance the scale on why we don't want to have her vaccinated and what will actually happen when she gets vaccinated, right? So that's how I would think about it. So for me, our fear was initially, what if she come and get sick? What if she gets Guillain-Barré syndrome? Some of those things will be our concerns. But what is the benefit? If she doesn't get the vaccine and she contracts COVID-19, what is the negative to that? And then what is the benefit of taking the vaccine? So we have to weigh those options there and really come in to make a decision. So
right, and in that case, you'll want the advice of, a medical practitioner. What, do they recommend? And because, some of the doctors, as we see earlier on today, I don't know if anyone looked at the Prime Minister's press conference, right? And during the press conference, they spoke about the exemption, right? And you have to go to only the public medical officer, not no private doctor, medical officer in the public sector can grant that exemption, to not take the vaccine, right? That's the only people who can, medical officers, not the private doctor. So if it is you go to the hospital and, they do whatever checkup and they decide, okay, yes, you can go ahead, but there are persons who they say that they go for the medical advice and the doctor may tell them, yes, take the vaccine, but they already went in their mind saying that the doctor will say, no, you don't need to take the vaccine, or you can't take the vaccine. They already have their mind set. They have the answer already on what it is they want to do, but it's still going. And that does not make any sense. Well, at least not to me. Abby, if it is you're not going to, you, in your head, you don't want to take the vaccine, but you're still saying, I'm going to seek medical advice.
Right? That now doctor say no, don't take it.
Now we have our general practitioner where they know us personally, all our insecurities. Right. So if he tell me that due to your medical history, I would not advise you to take it, and I need permission from a public medical official who has no idea about my medical history, but yet he's the one have to grant me exemption. How is that fair from someone who knows my medical history?
That's a good observation. That's a good observation.
No, right. You wouldn't go to the PMO without a history. You have to carry a history from your GP or whoever.
But if I want to keep my history private.
Yeah, not everybody like the medical history publicized,
Yeah.
I think once it is, whether it, for me, it has some things, we may say that it is private, but at an extent, it's not so private anymore when someone else know about it. Like, yes, you have your your general practitioner, you have your own private doctor. I mean, the secretary may know some of your information because they are in the files, they are the ones seen us. So it is not so private anymore. Yes, we understand the confidentiality and maybe people outside of that wouldn't know about it. Yes, but then it's not so private anymore. And when it comes to health, there are some things that, it's not like it's telling the whole world. All right, so Trinity is saying I'm a bit confused regarding to whose clearance on the vaccine for kids. Is it 16 or from 12? Right? So the clearance right now, Trinity, is for the Pfizer can be given to persons 12 to 18 years old. Right? And right now they are looking at doing it for children between the ages of 5 to 11. Emergency vaccination. Right? Because what they are saying now is that they can be, the carriers, they can spread, nothing may happen to them, they may be asymptomatic as well, but they can be the one who is spreading the virus. And as we know, they say that the Delta is more deadly than the others.
But you know what I'm confused about with regards to that? Is if they may not get sick from the virus, right? And they're just more capable of spreading the virus. And the vaccine does not prevent you from getting the virus, but rather helps you to recuperate faster from the virus. Why is it necessary to give kids 5 to 11 the vaccine?
I do not know if they are thinking about the, children who are more vulnerable and who may be, more susceptible to getting, the hard part of the virus.
Like Jerry, she is our number one case. She could, the virus.
Yes, very vulnerable. Yes, right. So I think that's what they are looking at, right? So that in the event that they do contract the virus, they have a high chance of, surviving. Just as with the adults, there are persons who would have gotten it. They don't know. They're going about their normal lives and they pass it on to someone else.
But they don't get sick.
And they don't get sick. Right? We know, as we said, it have children who would not get sick from it. There are adults who would not get sick from it. So we see Trinity say they do not have enough studies to support that. So that's Nikki, true. I know that you have a princess. So is it that if it is time now where they say that your daughter is in, I can't remember your daughter's age right now, but will you have, will you allow her to get vaccinated? Right now, it seems like Nikki is saying, I'm not agreeing with it. But let us know, Nikki. Right? Because right now, we are seeing this evening in the conference. So this is, some real hard decisions people have to make, which really will cause a lot of, disagreements between mothers and fathers, right? Because some may say time for that child to go back out to school, and it even have some parents that their child is vaccinated, but they are not feeling safe enough to have them go back out into the public like that, right? So they let their child get the vaccine, but they don't want them to go out there as yet, especially with the Delta being around.
You know what I'm confused about? I wonder if Mike could help me out with this one, right? If I decide not to take the vaccine, right, and they give me, well, they say it's a choice and choices have consequences. I understand that. If I choose to snort some drugs and I end up a druggie, that's my choice, that's the consequence. Good. Now, when they say vaccine or go to the slammer, you can't get food because you're not vaccinated, you can't get job because you're not vaccinated, either you go in isolation for the rest of your life or get vaccinated. Choose one. Is it really a choice or an option? That's what I'm confused about.
Well, clearly,
I continue saying it's choice. It can't be option. It's just choice.
But they're giving you.
I understand what Abby is saying, right? Because when you think about multiple choice, there are like maybe 4 options or so. But four choices to me, right? But in this case, there are only 2. So how does it's like 2? How is that really?
It's
Yes,
not
you
even
have to
2
make a
choices.
choice, but it's
It's
not
like
enough
1
to like. You
choice.
feel like it's not enough to choose from, right?
It's
So it's an
actually one
I guess
option
choice.
then.
As she's
It's
saying,
an
it's only one choice, right? Because obviously you need food to eat to survive.
But
So
yeah.
you're not.
you're gonna
I
have
don't.
to take
I
the
mean,
vaccine.
you're giving me 2 options. It's
That's not
either
a,
I
that's not
can.
option. That's one
That's what I.
option.
That's 2 options. It's either I go in isolation and die from hunger,
So if,
or I
let me
get
say, in a
vaccinated.
family
So it's
environment,
either or. So it's an option, right?
Yeah.
so if in a
Yeah.
family environment, 2 people alone in a household of 5, is the only 2 people that vaccinated, and they are the only ones could go in the grocery and do everything else. What do you think about that?
Well, Mike, as I was saying earlier, there can be conflict amongst those families. It could have a situation where the vaccinated may not want to live with the unvaccinated anymore, right? And we are seeing, yeah, so they are okay, where the vaccinated will not want to live those. Forget about love, forget about this. You putting yourself at risk. You know, some persons think like that. Remember, they'll be like, but we are not on the same page. You trying to be home, sit down, so what I must do, take care of you because you don't want to be vaccinated. You know, you're going to have that type of questions being asked. Why should you be home, sitting, not working, because now you need to be vaccinated to work? Should I take care of you because you don't want to be vaccinated? And that's going to become a problem when we're talking about the money and how it is allocated, you know, and you know how it is you're actually contributing to the family.
But you really think that that's a choice though? Like when they say, okay, it's either you get vaccinated or you go in isolation and die. That's not really a choice. You know, because,
Actually,
That's what I'm
it is.
because
saying.
you take away the person's basic needs. That's their basic rights
But
there. You take
that is
that
what they're
away.
doing,
So
though.
that's
That's what they're
that's-
yeah,
doing.
that's
yeah.
exactly
There's
what's
a human
happening.
being. So
That's exactly
you take
what
away that with the option of so
But you
either
can't
you
work
take the
without
vaccine
it.
or you have no rights. Then that's basically what they're saying. You
That's
know,
the plan.
Right.
it's either you
Okay,
take this
so
vaccine or you have no rights. That's it.
That's the plan.
that's what
No,
I'm saying.
the
It's an
thing,
Like you
option,
have
our choice.
to take the vaccine to accept
the
the basic human rights.
That's the
so
plan.
the thing about it is, right, as we okay, so it come like this. When it is we want to get a job, so there are people who they like certain things and they want to do a particular job. But in order to do that particular job, you need to come with certain skills. You need to come with, certain, qualifications and maybe even experience as well, right? And earlier today in the conference, you were speaking about the law and the vaccines that children, need to take in order to go out to school, right? That is in law. And if that child is not vaccinated, they will not allow them in the school. So, I mean, it has been there all the time. But when it is we were going to get jobs before, they're not going to ask us for our vaccination card, or they're not going to ask us to, whether it is, oh, you need to get a tetanus. Maybe some jobs require that their employees do get the tetanus injection depending on the nature of the job, right? So that's why it now comes, it's a qualification now. So it's beside the education, that certificate, whether it's accounting, nursing, whatever, right? No, so it's not that. And that's why earlier when I was saying that, yes, we have human rights, but with rights, we have responsibilities. So same as people have the choice to drink alcohol or not to drink alcohol, right? If it is you drink too much alcohol, people, or if it is you smoke cigarette for this amount of time, what is can happen to you? Now, is smoking cigarettes a responsible thing? And people will know the side effects, people will know what will happen. But they say, I have a choice, it's my right. So yes, we want to have a right. So we even have a right to what they say will be free healthcare or healthcare, right? But now, earlier on, what they're saying is if it is you don't take the vaccine and you get COVID-19, now the decision is left in the doctor's hand who should live or die. So now you put, so besides now taking, now the matter is definitely out of your hand. You have to hope that the doctor, like you have to hope that the doctor want to save you. But then we may have a case, you may say, here what? All who don't want to take the vaccine, leave them, let them be. Let us see.
No,
where
now
the
there's
fall.
a conflict here with that statement, right?
Yes.
Because we all know if you eat too much sugar, you can get diabetes, right? Now, I think if the doctor also said you already know if you have too much sugar, had too much salt, high blood pressure, diabetes, whatever you consume within your
cholesterol.
body, let's say eating too much, fatty stuff, because you know the consequences, then they should also be cast to the side. Because we know if we eat healthy, we will have no problems within our body. But yet people still choose to smoke, drink, without any mandates, I should say. So if the medical industry say, to hell with you guys who have diabetes, you're supposed to know not to eat sugar. Too much of it is going to get you diabetes. We're not going to help you. So if they're going to say that for the unvaccinated, they should say that for all these things that can happen within your body if you have too much of something. I think that should be fair. If you get me, Jay. Now,
Right now, it's all out there. It's all the information is out there. They put it on the packs, and as we say, people still make that decision to do certain things. People through, they get on drugs, they are addicted, they become, drug addicts. They are substance abusers.
For those, right?
Right. Yes, they do. But the thing about it is the facilities that they have for those people, the people even need to see that they have a problem and they need to be willing to go to seek that help. You can't just say, okay, I'm carrying somebody to Alcoholics Anonymous. So any one of the places that deal with drug addicts and alcohol abusers, right? It's only if it is any issue, whether somebody have
the promiscuous,
they are promiscuous, they are sex addicts, so whatever. I mean, if they're not seeing it as if they have to want to make that change. Yes, so we're going to go to a short break and come back. Yes.
Pressure today.
Conflict.
Conflict is right.
So I'll be joining Chica J this Sunday at 7 a.m. for Sweaty Sundays with the Burn team. Be prepared because it's peace. See you all
then. 1, 2, 3, let's go!
So we are back. We are speaking to Shamika James, our social worker. Our guest tonight is Abby. She ain't sleeping. Bed must be wet. And we're talking to Verena all the way somewhere. And Lion hiding somewhere. This is me and Mike in studio. Which studio are you in, boy? I can't remember now. That must be Conflict, yes? All right. I have to be Conflict.
Yeah, so Abby, before we went on the break, you were going to say something. So,
did I?
Yes, you will.
Well, they want to have conflict this evening, or?
Well, we seen
No,
that,
but
we have.
well,
We
I mean,
dealing with
I'm
it
not
with
saying
Mama.
yes, I'm not saying that I'm promoting don't get vaccinated. What I'm just saying is because it's turning into this medical debate whether unvaccinated should be seen by a medical profession, it's way off course. Then you're gonna say you can't buy food without it, you can't go on the bus without it. What's gonna happen? You know, you
So
have to have these.
here's
Go
what,
ahead.
right? So, last week I mentioned it, right? The time that you spend in the grocery or at a supermarket or at Pennywise and whatever store that you go to, you do not spend that amount of time at the gym, at the restaurant, at any place of leisure and pleasure. When it is you go to the spa, right, Abby, how long, when it's saying, you like the pool and all these things,
Oh
how
yeah.
long do you spend there?
Always.
Sometimes you miss, exactly, but you wouldn't spend hours in the grocery store.
You can spend hours riding the bus depending on where you're going.
Well, depending on where you go, right? And hence the reason why when it is persons want to go from one country to the next, to enter that country, they're asking for you to be vaccinated because of the time, as you said, they're going to take to get from point A to point B. But the supermarkets, no, they are not asking that people be vaccinated. But if it is you want that leisure and pleasure, you need to be vaccinated. Now, here where's another conflict is coming in, right? Because of the restaurants, the bars, and cinemas and all these things, only the vaccinated can enter. It is now causing a confusion where the adults, or let's just say the children who are of the age to be vaccinated, if there's anyone under the age of 12 in that household, they are not allowed to go out and dine or they are not allowed to go to the cinema right now, because they are unvaccinated.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think that is causing a lot of conflict right now. Like, I mean, there's conflict between the citizens and the government, because like, why do I have to leave my children at home then? Because now they don't really have a choice, because there isn't an option right now for their younger ones to be vaccinated under the age of 12. Yeah, so that becomes an issue.
But that seems like a premeditated move to me.
Well, everything is planned, right? Now remember the government's plan.
That's a
remember, they always plan.
Why you think
parents take the vaccine? When Pfizer come out now, they will vaccinate their 5 to 11-year-olds in order to go out with them. Chuck E. Cheese, the mall, McDonald's, wherever.
Yes.
So it's a premeditated move, and I find that personally, I mean, I have taken my vaccine, but personally, I find that some of the reasonings behind taking this vaccine is a bit malicious to the choice that we're supposed to have. Choice. That's the word choice. We don't really have choice when the attempts to give us an option is of a malicious value.
No, here why it is like this, right? Now, what is happening is that the situation, right? Okay, so Nikki, let us read this comment. My thing is, how the other vaccines not safe to give the kids other than the US made ones?
Oh,
that's Nikki's question. And her other comment would have been, what is a conflict in itself is that the vaccinated can still get the virus, right? She said, smells political and plantation sounding. Now, here's the case, right? COVID-19, we know that a lot of persons would have died due to COVID-19. And, people say, well, governments don't care. They just about the money or whatever the case might be. But at the same time, right, if it says there's no people there'll be no one to work, there'll be no taxes to be paid by anyone, and money can't make if there's no people. Right? Human resource is the most important resource in all areas. Human resource is very, very important. And if you don't have the human resource, well, things fall apart. Yes, they're doing all the digital and they're, taking away some of the things, yes, but human resource is still very much important. If there are no one to go to the bars or the clubs, the cinemas, or wherever, there will not be any money circulating, right? If it is that there may be no carnival and all these things that we like and the contributions that we make economically to whoever it will be, no, it wouldn't be there anymore. Yeah. So I mean, I think it's a situation.
I don't believe,
situation.
I don't believe the conspiracy theories that people coming across with, because I doubt very much they're going to give 1 billion people the vaccine for them to die. So
well,
because
they're not fall and die, they're not gonna die as soon as, they have like time limits.
But it is, there's a lot of conflict. It's a lot of conflict.
Yes, so that's why, yes, so that's misinformation, as I said earlier. That misinformation, and when it says you have,
sorry,
yes, Abby.
Oh, the conflict is to me is how they're trying to find ways of making people take this thing. They're trying all kind of stuff, and they're even taking away your right to survive. That's how I look at it. Essentials, a human being essentials. If you don't pay your bill, you're not going to get no. If you're not vaccinated, we can't supply you with anything, even though all of the stuff is online. You can even work online from home if you're not. It have all kind of conspiracies now saying that if you're not vaccinated, we're gonna shut down your bank account. All this stuff is just.
Oh,
and
so is that happening on your end? Because they have not said that on our end. That they're gonna lock up people's bank accounts and these things, right? But as I said, as we look at it, we see it's only leisure and pleasure that they are asking people to be vaccinated for.
And they are
that leisure and pleasure.
Sacrifice their leisure and pleasure. And then
yes,
what?
They are.
What is going to happen then? Because they want the whole population to accept.
Now, right now, there are 3 options, right? Take the vaccine.
3 options.
Don't take the vaccine or get an exemption. But in order to get that exemption, it must be a special person, a person who really is like 2% or so persons who may be unable to take the vaccine. It's not much persons who will not be able to take the vaccine, but that's the other option for those who really cannot take the vaccine. It's only those people. It's not like, because of my belief system, I will not be taking the vaccine, or because I just don't feel like not taking it. That's not really the option. So the option is take it, not to take it, or you can get an exemption if it is really in that. So those are your choices. And as you said earlier, Abby, choices have consequences. Yeah, so let us really think about what it is. Think about where you would like to be in the future. Think about the pros and the cons, right? And what is the best decision that you can make for you. And if it is, you have a family, by extension, your family. And in these cases where it says you really cannot be vaccinated, there are things in place, for you concerning that, if you really, really cannot take it, right? And parents, if it is you're thinking about whether it is a child should have, we know that children between the ages of 12 and 18 are being vaccinated now. Some persons, they're observing what's happening to other children, as the saying goes, everyone is not the same, right? So you don't know what can happen. But if it is, it makes you feel more comfortable. You can do a checkup before going to take the vaccine. Check your blood pressure, whatever you need to check, whatever test you need to run, get it done if that will give you a peace of mind, right? And the other thing to note is that there are doctors, there are nurses, make sure you observe. And what I will encourage people to do is always pay attention to what's going on with your body. Sometimes we don't really pay attention, and it's only when things, it's too late that we may see. Let us really pay attention and be in tune with ourselves holistically. Yes, so if you eat something and you realize this happens when you eat this particular food, or if you drink this particular drink, what happens? Is there any change? Is there any negative changes? Sometimes the littlest thing that we may not consider as something bad, if it is you're not using the washroom as often as you should, the color of your urine, all these different things, we need to pay attention. I'm just encouraging everyone to pay attention to what's going on to your bodies. If it is in a certain environment, are you more stressed out? Or if it is you're around this group of people, are you more happy? And that's where, we'll be able to determine if it is you do take the vaccine and you realize this never have really happened to you before. And sometimes, the mind over matter. When I hear all these things that could happen to people, if it is to take the vaccine, and sometimes you might think you're getting jitters, you ain't getting no jitters, it's just a mind game. Right? Let us not become victims of fear and anxiety. And you see, that fear factor is a real thing that could cause us to have a lot of conflicting emotions within ourselves, and really inhibit our decision making skills, right? So we don't want anything to cause us to make wrong decisions, or harsh decisions, and we make the wrong choices. So let us be in tune with ourselves. People like to talk about, yes, I'm in tune, but no, sometimes we are really not in tune with ourselves. So let us be in tune with ourselves and do what could maybe give you, a peace of mind going forward, so that you can make the best decisions that you can.
Yeah. Well, my advice to all the men in the house tonight, if you want to keep your body resistance high and stuff, do like me. Eat plenty saltfish. Yeah, so next.
Mike, but how we watch it so today? Like we go in Hawaii? Watch me Hawaiian shit now.
Yeah.
It's flowing. It's just a handful. I don't know how this CEO deal with you on a daily basis.
Because I really see. Now, but very good topic again. I mean, we had to really be serious and see what's going on. I haven't heard what the Prime Minister said, but I'll go back and get a transcript of it. Because all of these things happening at a pace now, I think Trinidad is a little way behind still. And it will take a little while before we catch up to what's going on outside, the world on the outside. Because there's a lot of stuff that changes happening every day outside. But we still catching up.
Don't worry, the new date is November the 2nd, but the whole
world is November. The whole world is November.
Right, yeah. So we had October, now it's going to be November. And, as I said, let us really make...
2030 is the target.
We kind of low. We have some time.
Yes,
right, it may come fast, but we have some time. So let us really live today while we think about tomorrow, yes? Because we know what we do today could affect our tomorrow.
Plenty saltfish.
Right, so I want to invite you all, everyone who's on the live looking on. Right, we have a guest instructor, Nazi. She's a Zumba instructor, and she'll be joining the Burn team tomorrow. Right, so you all don't miss it. So whether it is you're watching on the live and doing the workouts in the comfort of your homes without being on camera, you can join us and, lend that support. Right, and of course, after Nazi is, with me, right? We're gonna have a real nice session tomorrow as usual, right? But we're just adding a little, flavor
That's tomorrow.
to the pot.
Ladies,
Yes.
just remember also, you have two big men in the background doing the technical part of it. So go easy on the eyes, eh? I may have to wear my darkers in the morning.
Darkers.
So we'll see how that goes. Yeah. Because
Right,
Sholan
so
and we're looking on.
Yes,
Limited
spots are
spots?
very limited. Yes, so first come, first serve.
Anybody had to get vaccinated?
And no, this is online. Right, so we don't need anybody to. We're not discriminating.
Right.
Right.
Good.
We are
Very
not
good.
discriminating.
Very good.
Right, then plenty people won't be on the live.
So we expecting
But anyway,
we expecting a bumper show in the morning with the special guest.
Yes.
Nice.
Yes, yes.
Sholan,
so
you be eyeballing, boy.
I want to thank all the viewers, for locking on and sharing. I want to thank Abby. Abby, I know it's late and it's your bedtime, so thank you for joining us. I know it's a great sacrifice. Thank you, Verena. As a parent of a child with a disability as well, thank you for your contributions. You want to thank Sholan as well for making sure things, looking nice on the backdrop, all the background and the overlays and all these, all the fancy stuff. I just really say that fancy, right? That's Sholan, right? So thank you for being the tech, and thank you, Mike, for being, co-host and, running the music and stuff. Right, so we thank everyone. We look out for you in the morning, 7 a.m. Sweaty Sunday. We releasing whatever stress you have.
Yes.
Yes. And getting fit while at it.
It's all fish.
Mike, nobody said anything about saltfish.
Oh.
So thank you all. Have a wonderful night, restful night. Take care.
Nice.
Go on.
So you've been listening to the effects of COVID-19 and another wonderful show again. We were talking conflict. Want to thank Verena. Want to thank Abby. Guys, have a good night. Just remember, I'll be on tonight, Radio Irie. We're doing old Kaiso. All you come and join us now. Gonna be nice. Yeah?
Try, Mike. I would try.
Hey, Abby, you gonna be sleeping that hour, girl.
No.
Unless
Unless?
Unless she up eating saltfish.
do you get hot dogs that hour the morning? I never buy hot dogs them hour the morning,
Oh, I'm so city.
PM, baby. I got PM now. I fais petit temps, baby. I got PM now. I got PM, baby. I got PM now. Wap got PM, tade. I got PM now. C'est genre de femme, remets l'argent bon tout là. Toujours à checker, n'est qu'à travailler dans l'état. Dans yon remets pouvoir, dans yon remets ça. Quatre roues motrices, vite des services de l'état. Alpia, pas exigeant passé yo. Yo pas souviré, depuis yo pas Prado. Dommage, ça yo peut laisser bouillir de l'eau. Si c'est pour manger, ou mettre check compris mon resto. I got PM, baby. I got PM now. I fais petit temps, baby. I got PM.
你個半天，你個卡你個先慢嘅。
I got PM now. Baby now.